Hello and welcome to another career tips. Sorry, welcome to another Tuesdays at 2. I run career tips for a crazy world Monday and Friday, and then Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern time each week. This is episode number 167. I talk about a different topic each week, and today's topic is very interesting, and not a lot of people know how to do it. So, tips for understanding the corporate culture at your future employer. Corporate culture today is very, very important. There is big differences between corporate culture at competitors. One company could have a certain culture and their competitor could have another culture, and then the other competitor can have another culture. So it's very, very important. If you don't fit into that culture, then that could really cause problems for you and make you unhappy in your career. And there is a video, well, previous Tuesdays at 2, talking about why you should not be unhappy in your career. 67% of Canadians, where I am right now, are unhappy in their career. How sad is that? So you don't want to be unhappy in your career. So before you go into a job search, hunt down the companies with good culture that meets your attributes, your needs, your requirements, what you can bring ABC company or XYZ company. So don't be unhappy at work. There's no need to be unhappy at work in today's robust economy. If anybody's got any comments, wants to ask any questions to do with executive career management, please ask away. Put them in the comments, and I will answer them as we go through this Tuesdays at 2. So I'm going to give you an example of differences in culture that I am very, very familiar with. The five major banks, the tier one banks here in Canada, all have different cultures. They are quite distinct, and that comes out in the annual when people talk about them. When they're talking about, well, this is a good bank to work for, this is not a good bank to work for. I can tell you, I can label them number 1 to 5 quite clearly, and it's not just uh, this year, it's going back a long, long, long time. So culture is very, very important. They all do the same thing. They're in tier one banking, servicing the Canadian and international population, but they all have a different culture. And I can tell you that some of those cultures are vastly, vastly different between the five different tier one banks here in Canada. So that's a really good example. So make sure you do your due diligence when you're hunting. Say, for instance, let's use the Canadian banks as an example. If you are looking for a job at a Canadian bank, tier one bank, ask people and do the hunt, do your due diligence on what the corporate culture, because for one might fit for one person, but it might not fit for another. And that's very, very important. So how do you go about that? Well, I would suggest you use LinkedIn and you start connecting with employees off the hiring line. So if you're going to be in wealth management at ABC Bank, you want to connect with people in retail banking and commercial banking and other silos off the hiring line, and then understand their culture. What do they talk about around the water cooler? Do a lot of due diligence. You can even connect with people in that silo, but not within your hiring line. So if you're going to be in finance within wealth management, you don't want to connect with the people there. You want to connect with the other people in maybe marketing of wealth management or whatever. So do your due diligence. So they very, very important. So connect with employees who have left the company. If they've left the company, and LinkedIn will tell you in the last 6 or 8, 10 months, or even a year, you want to connect with them because they have no allegiance to that particular company, and they will spill the beans. They will tell you exactly what's wrong, what the culture is, what's good, what's bad, and what you need to know before you go in to apply for a job or before you go in for the interview. So connect with employees off the hiring line and past employees, and do a lot of due diligence. This is where it's going to spend a lot of time, but generally people will welcome the opportunity to have a conversation with you, maybe online or in person or over Zoom or whatever. Your morale. So, what is the morale at that bank or that organization? What are the products? What are the services? What is the management team? What are they like? Management teams vary, and they can really cast a lot of concrete. They can solidify that culture. So make sure you know the management team. You may have worked with one of them at a previous time in another organization or whatever. So make sure you do your due diligence. What do they talk about around the water cooler? That is very, very important. Culture, culture, culture. Do your due diligence. Research online, another great platform for research is Glassdoor, an excellent platform where you can look up that particular entity, that particular organization, and you can find what previous employees may talk about it and current employees. So Glassdoor, Google the company and see if there's any unhappiness or complaints against the way the management operates or the culture. So doing your due diligence is going to reap huge rewards if and when you come to a job offer and you want to sign that contract to become employed, because you don't want to sign a contract to become employed at so and so company and be unhappy. That is a waste of your time, waste of everybody else's time, and you will be exiting that company, hopefully, because you don't want to remain in unhappiness. So ask the interview when you get to the interview. Ask the interview. It's a two-way street, an interview, and there's some good examples, videos on interviewing on my YouTube channel, and talk about, well, what is the culture here? Get them, put them on the spot. It's a two-way street. An interview is a two-way street. So ask them about the culture. What do they think of the culture? What do they talk about around the water cooler? So that sort of wraps it up. The culture is very, very important. Don't dismiss it. You need to embrace culture. You need to study that culture, because the more you do, the more armed you're going to be when you go into the interview, and you're more happy when you get that job. You're going to be, because you spend so many days, so many hours of your life at a company. There's no reason today why you should be unhappy. That about wraps it up for today's Tuesdays at 2. If anybody's got any questions, please put them in the comments line. I'm more than happy to answer them. Next Tuesdays at 2 is uh, how does an executive recruiter find me? How does an executive recruiter find me? Now, there's lots of myths about executive recruiters, but you need to find out how they find you so you can find them. So you need to be on their radar. So come back next Tuesday. If anybody wants a free, no obligation resume critique, a 30-minute Zoom, I'm more than happy to give that resume or CV critique. I'm more than happy to go through it with you. And if anybody wants a LinkedIn profile audit, I'll go through it from top to bottom, another 30 minutes. And I have an extensive YouTube channel talking about all facets of executive career management. So this is episode number 167 of Tuesdays at 2. So there's 167 Tuesdays at 2, each one a different topic, slightly different. So go and have a look on my YouTube channel, and if you do, please press the subscribe button and the bell button, where you will be notified of all future videos to come. So thanks for listening today, and have a great week. But manage your career. Every day you should put a little time into managing, whether it be networking or looking out for your next opportunity, because we're in a very transient society where you could be laid off, terminated at any particular time. Have a great week, and I will see you next Tuesday for Tuesdays at 2.